A pregnant woman who is forced to run away from her country with her husband and refugees is soon trapped in the middle of nowhere inside a container with her child and is forced to survive an unusual circumstantial future. A crisis is gripping Europe, leaving its population in desperate need of essential resources. As governments begin to crumble, a totalitarian regime known as Not Enough at All seizes power, resorting to drastic measures to address resource scarcity by eliminating people. The initial targets are the elderly, followed by pregnant women and children. A handful of nations, Iceland and Norway, stand in opposition to this regime, offering refuge to those fleeing the mass extermination. Among these escapees are Nico and his pregnant wife, Mia. Guided by a smuggler, they navigate the paths of the local harbor in the cover of darkness, evading both a stray dog and the searching beams of helicopters. They hear police arresting other escapees, but they manage to slip past and encounter another smuggler who demands additional payment. With their resources already finishing off, they had to hand over their wedding rings. They eventually find themselves inside the back of a truck, sharing the space with other women, children, and even a dog. Mia worries about her unborn child, as she hasn't felt its movements for a while. Nico reassures her by showing her where the baby's foot usually kicks and offers her a Snickers bar, a small token of celebration for their future in Ireland. A resourceful refugee uses a drill to create a hole in the truck, allowing some light to filter in. Mia observes the grim realities of the world outside, soldiers mercilessly quelling protests, and women being treated like livestock. The truck comes to a halt at a checkpoint. People inside hide behind a fake wall. Despite presenting cargo papers, the soldiers inspect the truck. Suspicion arises, leading to a search. Mia hides on the top of a box while all the others are killed by the soldiers. Mia is left alone. She contacts Nico via phone, urging him to remain hidden. The journey continues, and the truck arrives at another harbor where their container is transferred to a ship. Mia attempts to reach Nico via phone but receives no response. She leaves a message indicating her situation. As she checks her belongings and illuminates the container, a violent storm hits. The container is tossed around and eventually crashes into the sea, leaving Mia and her child floating in a sea of containers. Her phone is damaged, and she is unable to contact Nico. She looks around for things that fell from the bags around and finds a tape and a Swiss Army knife. Suddenly she hears noises of people screaming in the distance. She looks through the small hole in the container and finds another container which is sinking. It was the container Nico was in. Mia reaches out for the working phone, puts her SIM in it, and tries to contact Nico. He won't pick up, and ultimately the container sinks. Mia has an emotional breakdown and tries to unalive herself with the knife. However, she stops when she gets a response from her baby. She moves boxes against the wall to make a place to rest. She marks the water levels with tape and goes on to count days until the water level reaches its maximum limit. She looks over at pictures of her family and friends, which she had in a diary. She is disturbed with everything going around. Boredom soon takes over. She gets a call from an unknown number, and it's Nico. He explains that his battery died previously, so he couldn't contact her. He informs that he is alive because the driver of the container scammed the people and abandoned them outside the city. In return, Mia explains her situations and Nico promises to rescue her. He advises that she must continue to save the battery and try her best to survive for their child. She sees a storm approaching. She feels a contraction and realizes that she is going to give birth then and there. She is screaming in pain. Her phone rings, but she is unable to receive it. The phone slips from her hand and falls into the water. Having no other choice, she takes off her clothes and stands up with supports her until she starts crying. Getting exhausted in the whole situation, Mia loses her cool and snaps at her daughter. She realizes what happened and quickly apologizes. She calms the child down and starts breastfeeding supplies to stay afloat. She feeds her baby and sustains herself on meager rations. Desperation sets in as Mia battles hunger. The dreadful situation and hunger drives her to eat her own placenta. She fishes for food, collects rainwater, and attempts to signal passing planes, but everything is uncertain and unsuccessful. As she battles exhaustion and desperation, Mia continues to care for the baby. She tries to signal for help with SOS notes placed in containers and tossed into the sea. Mia names her child Noah, sharing stories of the past and the daughter they lost. As resources are getting over, she is desperate to live. Mia's efforts to escape intensify. She constructs a makeshift raft, continues fishing for sustenance, and attempts to signal for rescue. A seagull provides a glimmer of hope as land must must be nearby. However, her survival is further tested when a storm strikes, leaving her and Noah struggling in the water. They are eventually rescued by a passing boat, where Mia falls unconscious but is rescued by the sailors. The boat is headed for Ireland, offering Mia the prospect of the new life she had longed for. Stay tuned for more amazing stories. Don't forget to subscribe and ring the notification bell so you won't miss out on any updates. Until next time, with another exciting film.